Hi, John McElroy here talking all things automotive. You know, automakers are looking everywhere to cut cost. They don't have a choice. Cars have become so unaffordable for the average household that in the last decade, millions of households have dropped out of the new car market. Not because they want to, but because the only way they can afford to buy what they want is to buy a used one. There is one area where the car companies have an enormous opportunity to cut costs, where they can save billions of dollars every year, and I'll get to that in a minute. But first, let's look at how affordability is forcing radical change in the industry and how it's forcing automakers to look for every opportunity they can find to cut cost. Affordability has hit such a critical juncture that it's actually threatening the growth of the auto industry. If you have not seen my video showing how new car sales in the US, Europe, and Japan are no longer growing, check it out here. And because those markets stopped growing, the biggest car companies have stopped growing too, especially when you look at the revenue and profits on an inflation-adjusted basis. You can see the video that I did about that here. So think about it. If you're a car company and your market's not growing and your car sales are not growing, there are only two things that you can do with your cars. You can raise their prices or cut their costs. Those are the only way to grow your profits. But with this price war in China likely to spread to other regions, maybe counting on raising your prices isn't a very good idea. That means the only safe way to protect your margins is to cut your costs. That's why you're hearing all this talk about Tesla's unboxed assembly process, which could slash the cost of making cars. That's why Ford started an EV Skunk Works project and why Toyota launched the BEV factory, all in the interest of finding new ways to make cars to slash the cost. And probably other car companies are looking at doing something like it, but they're just not talking about it, at least not yet. This is why you hear more and more suppliers complaining about how automakers are putting more pressure on them to cut their prices for raw materials and components and modules. The fastest way that the car companies can cut their costs is to lean on their suppliers. But you can only squeeze suppliers so much or you're going to drive them out of business. And the cost of labor, especially after the latest UAW contract, is only going up. So you can't look for any relief there either. That doesn't leave the car companies very many places to turn to, except for one, the cost of warranty, which includes recalls and what they call field actions, where vehicles have to be repaired on site. Warranty, as you probably know, is where a part fails on your car while it's still under warranty and you take your car to the dealer to get it fixed for free. Recalls are when there's some sort of safety or emissions failure and the government forces a company to fix it for free. But as you know, nothing in life is free, and the bills to fix those warranty problems are horrifically expensive. The car companies spend billions of dollars on them every year, and they're the only ones who can solve it. The cost of warranty and recalls is completely in their hands. I dug through the 10K financial reports of Tesla, General Motors, Ford, and Stellantis because the U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission, the SEC, mandates that they publish their warranty data. I sure wish the German, Japanese, and Korean authorities would require their car companies to publish the same data because I'm sure it would be eye-opening. But we only have it on the automakers who are traded on American stock exchanges. The numbers I'm using here is what these automakers actually spent on warranty last year. It does not include what they called accrued liabilities, which means it's how much money the automakers set aside for future warranty work. For this report, I'm just using the money they actually spent. And let's start with Tesla, since it spent the least amount of money on warranty and recalls, about $1.2 billion. Now, since Tesla can handle most of its recalls with over-the-air updates, you'd expect it to spend less money than the legacy car companies. Even so, Tesla's warranty bills are shooting up fast. That's somewhat to be expected because as the company sells more cars, its warranty costs go up and Tesla sales are going up. But as you can see on this chart, its warranty costs shot up 52% last year, while its car sales went up 37%. So Tesla's warranty costs are actually going up faster than its sales, and there's a red flag. At the other end of the spectrum, Ford spent the most on warranty last year, $4.7 billion, up 14.7%, over $600 million more than it spent in 2022. Talk about an opportunity to cut costs. That's money that's just begging to be put on the bottom line. Across town, General Motors did far better than Ford, but it still incurred $3.2 billion in warranty costs, up 7% from the year before. And Stellantis spent nearly $3.9 billion, but that was up only 2%. Interestingly, Stella says most of its recall and warranty costs come from its North American operations. These numbers tell quite a story. There sure is a lot of money tied up in warranty and recall, but we need to bore down a bit deeper into the numbers because each of those companies sells a different number of cars, and whoever sells more cars will likely have a higher bill to pay for all that warranty and recalls. So let's look at what they're spending on a per-car basis. And Ford comes out the worst. Last year, it spent the equivalent of $1,083 on warranty for every vehicle it sold. Compared to its legacy competitors here, Ford is giving away nearly $400 a car. And boy, if the company wants to find ways to cut costs, that number is staring it right in the face. Surprisingly, Tesla is the next worst. Its warranty cost came to $677 per car, which is higher than General Motors or Stellantis. You know, with all those over-the-air updates, I expected Tesla's numbers to be lower. But what this suggests is that even if it did save money on OTAs, it made that up with higher warranty repairs at its service centers. Meanwhile, General Motors, by my calculations, came in at $662 per car, and Stellantis is the best at $628. Okay, that's on a per-car basis. Let's go one level deeper into the numbers and look at warranty costs as a percentage of total revenue. Once again, Ford devotes more money on this than the others. It uses 2.7% of its revenue on quality problems, while GM and Stellantis devote the same percentage at 1.9%, and Tesla comes in the best at 1.2%. You know, for me, this is a fascinating comparison, and it shows that all these companies have a lot of work to do to improve their quality. You know, years ago, early in my career, I got to interview Dr. W. Edwards Deming a number of times. He was the top quality expert in history, and even today he's still revered for his teachings and insights. And Dr. Deming always talked about the cost of quality. That is, how much it costs you when your quality's not good. He always justified spending money to eliminate quality problems because the payoff was always more than you spent. And these numbers show that the automakers have billions of dollars worth of low-hanging fruit, just ripe for the picking. So as they scramble around, looking for ways to cut costs to deal with the issue of affordability, warranties and recalls represent their greatest opportunity.